Okay, what is up, guys? Monday, August the 22nd, 2022. Hope you're all doing well. Chris Phillips here of the Daily Crow of the Spurs Up Show. What is going on? We're rocking, we're rolling here on a Monday. We got new merch Monday. We got the new merch on today. New camera Monday as well. We're feeling good, getting after it in a new week as we sit now just 12 days away from kickoff. What is up? What is up? I see Connor McCormish, Tony Sharp, Travie, Tony Shelley, Stephen Morwell Jr., C. Youngblood, Jason Derrick, Andrew the Textbook, Alex Heil, Brett Russ, Cody Gaskins. What's up? Appreciate y'all tuning in. Austin Griesman, Justin Langford. Here we go indeed. Guys, of course, as always, the Daily Crow brought to you by our friends over at Carolina Ale House. Yes, our good friends at Carolina Ale House as the TSUS tour continues. Very, very excited for that as we are at Woodruff Road. We are at Woodruff Road, this Thursday in Greenville, South Carolina, 6 o'clock. We'll get it rolling. But, of course, check out your local Carolina Ale House location, guys, wherever you are, wherever you might be. They've got plenty of cold beer on tap, great food, plenty of TVs for you to watch whatever game it is you want to check out. Of course, it is your number one spot to go to watch all Gamecock sporting events and to watch all sports in general, guys. See, this is how you know you got a new hat, right? We're trying to break it in. We're trying to break it in here. Here we go. All right, yeah, we got the Beamer Rattler Dad hat now. The Beamer Rattler Dad hat is officially in the rotation. We got I tell you, this is a logo that doesn't get enough love. The hand logo doesn't get enough love, man. This merch doesn't get enough love. Comfort colors, rocking and rolling on a Monday, so really, really exciting stuff. Guys, we are taking your questions, your comments, your calls, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Also, like I mentioned, guys, should have a much better setup with the camera. We should have a much better setup with the camera. Obviously, last week we were dealing with the camera and the refocusing and, the issues that presented. We've now gotten Todd Smith. I appreciate my guy Todd Smith with the super chat. Appreciate my guy Todd Smith with the super chat, getting us rolling here on this Monday, getting us rolling this week. John Edward says, can no one else hear him? John Edward, I think everybody else can hear me, so you might want to check your volume, my guy. I don't know. Everybody else seems to be able to hear me just fine. Either way, yeah, we got the new camera rolling, though. We used this on Friday. We should be good. The Logitech, shout out the folks at Logitech. They're not sponsoring me or paying me to say that, but hey, I appreciate it, man. We're looking sharp today, looking crispy on this Monday. Cocky Twan, 9-3. I got you, my guy. I got you. Kemper Keenan says back from Antigua. Is that how you say it? Antigua? Antigua. Ready for some Gamecock football. Travis says, I'm on the beach. Why don't you flex on us then, Travis? Feels good to be good. I hear you, my guy. Feels good to be good. No doubt. No doubt. Again, guys, podcast did drop this morning. Podcast dropped this morning talking Gamecocks offensive line. Also, of course, a big recruiting weekend. Of course, a massive recruiting weekend. Picking up another big-time defensive lineman, Xavion Hardy, which, just kind of came out of nowhere yesterday. I mean, I certainly wasn't sitting there yesterday expecting, wasn't expecting anything crazy to happen. And we ended up getting Xavion Hardy, and what Shane Beamer's doing on the recruiting trail right now, the positive momentum and building at the line of scrimmage is extremely impressive. My guy, Mitch West Weather, what's up, baby? What's going on? Dude, congratulations, by the way. I want to say congratulations to Mitch and the growth on his channel and the growth of his entity, man. Mitch, you've been doing an incredible job, and obviously the numbers, my friend, are reflecting that. The numbers are certainly reflecting that, my guy. So congratulations to you, Mitch. Luke RJ said, looks like I've got some sun on my face. Well, Luke, I don't know. I haven't really – I'm trying to think. I don't think I've been outside. I don't know if maybe it's just the reflection from this shirt or what have you. But, I mean, I haven't really been outside, my guy. So maybe I'm just excited and I got the blood pumping. I don't know, dude. Mitch, again, congratulations to you, my dude. Really, seriously. Awesome stuff, man. The work you're doing. Proud of you, my guy. Proud of you. Proud of you for sure. The beauty is in the grind, no doubt, no doubt. It's officially week 0. Yes, we made it. It is week 0. It is week 0, man. Congratulations. We have officially made it. John Gibbs, with luck and no injuries and recruiting to continue at a high level, 2024 and 2025. Watch out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No doubt. Of course, guys, it is Monday. That means we've got Stephen Garcia joining the show today. Stephen Garcia jumping on the airwaves. Stephen Garcia jumping on the airwaves. Very excited to chat with Stephen, the Roach King. Of course, the Roach family has increased by 1. So excited to get his, to congratulate him and talk to him about that. And of course, we're talking kind of football. And I've got some questions for him in regards to some other stories that he has not told us yet on the airwaves. Let's just put it that way. So really excited to chat with Stephen yet again. 12:15. We'll get him in here, guys. In the meantime, we'll take your questions, your comments. Also, those who are in the Big Cock Club, the Big Cock Club Discord, and the TDC Questions channel specifically, appreciate you guys all tuning in. I appreciate it. Craig Phillips says the camera's looking good. Got the same shirt. Had a couple people throw up the hand at the gym when I wore it on Friday. Yes, Craig. Awesome stuff. Love it. Craig, what area are you in? I'm curious. What area of the state are you in that people were throwing up the Spurs up sign? Gabbard H says, what's your picks for Vandy boys against Hawaii? So I think the spread is Vandy's a 6.5-point favorite. I am going probably Commodores. I just want to pull for Vandy. I want to be able to pull for Vandy, dude. I want to pull up for Vandy. So I'll probably go with Vandy in that one. But we've got our runyourpool.com thing, and we're picking every SEC game against the spread, and that starts this weekend. So you got to pick one way or the other, either Vandy minus 6.5 or Hawaii plus 6.5. I'm going with the Doors. You got to go with the Doors, man. You got to go with the Doors, right? They're only going to win like 2 or 3 games this year. I think this is going to be one of them. So let's see. Also, guys, just got news. Hey, we got a busy show tomorrow, by the way, on the Daily Crow. 12:30, we're going to have everybody's favorite, Mark Ryan, on this show. We're going to have Mark Ryan. And then 1:45, I just confirmed, we're going to have my good friend Brad Crawford. So 2 big-time guests tomorrow on the Daily Crow. Daily Crow's rocking and rolling, folks. Podcast is rocking and rolling. Luke RJ's in the chat talking shit as normal. Everything is operating at optimal capacity today. We love that. The beauty is in the banter. Brian Dean says he's got Oregon beating Georgia. Okay. Hey, week 1 picks will come next week. Week 1. Listen, the Wednesday podcast is still going to be SEC gambling picks. SEC gambling picks are going to happen. We'll have best bet as well. And because I was trying to think, like, what do I want to do on Wednesdays? Do I want to do some game preview stuff? I think I'm saving that for Fridays, and Wednesdays are going to be presser takeaways, sort of a midweek update. I don't know yet. I might add some other stuff, but at minimum, we're going to have the SEC gambling picks. We're going to have the best bet for Carolina's game. Really, really good stuff, man. It's exciting times. We're almost to single digits. Craig Phillips says Simpsonville at the YMCA right off 385. Okay, Simpsonville. All right, cool. So, I mean, you're all right. Well, you're in the area then. Cheers. Cheers to you, my guy. Cheers to you. Austin Griezmann, Saturday 10:30 is when they play. Saturday at 10:30. Yep. Saturday at 10:30. Guys, again, we are taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Brian Dean, South going up to a 13.5-point favorite over Georgia State. Brian, what book are you going off of? Joey Guyton, any injury updates or scrimmage news? Joey, really nothing came out of the scrimmage this weekend. Nothing. Beamer obviously did not speak to the media. And he actually does speak tomorrow. I forgot about that. So we might not be able to get Brad Crawford on. I forgot about that. Shane Beamer does speak at 1:30 tomorrow, and I would assume that's going to be on YouTube. So we might actually have to push that back because Shane Beamer, again, does speak tomorrow. Damn it, I forgot about that. I really did. Oh, man, okay. I got to look at the schedule. Either way, Shane Beamer does speak to the media tomorrow, so I'm sure he'll update everything with the scrimmage over the weekend, but nothing was said. Nothing really came out of that, so I'm not 110% sure who played, who sat out, what have you. But, again, I'm sure Coach Beamer will update us tomorrow. I believe they are – I think they practice today. I believe we posted on Discord the full practice schedule. I think they do. They were off yesterday. I believe they do practice today. Noah Johns, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, we got Stephen Garcia upcoming in a couple minutes here. About to fire him off the link. I'm trying to find Trying to find this practice schedule that I posted in our Discord for the week. Anyways, okay. I don't know. It's somewhere in there. It's somewhere in there. I don't know. We're going to go ahead and fire off Stephen the link. Let's see. We're going to fire the link to Garcia. There we go. Okay. Brett Rush, my patience for college football is wearing thin. Brett, is just around the corner, my guy. You only got a couple days left. Thomas Walker, this year's team, last year's schedule, what's the record? I don't think we can expect more wins than that with this year's schedule. Thomas, this year's team, last year's schedule, I mean, it's if you want to play the game, right, transitive property doesn't apply. If you want to play the game, I'll go. Last year, I think you probably would have went 7-5, 8-4, 8-4 maybe 8-4. I don't know. A lot of folks are going to just say Kentucky would have been a dub, Mizzou would have been a dub. I mean, that's 8-4. So I'll say 8-4. I'll say 8-4. I mean, it's so hard to do that because every team could do that. Every team could do that. Every team could do that, you know. Let's see. Brett Russ, what happened to opening the season on Thursday nights? That was a Spurrier thing, and we just haven't done it since. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Brett. Brett Russ, Vandy, Hawaii, Saturday night at 10:30, of course. Again, guys, podcast dropped this morning. Episode 692. Full breakdown of the Gamecocks' offensive line position unit preview series rolls on. And so as you can imagine, this show was a very interesting show today. Very interesting. My graphic for the overall grade of the unit will drop tomorrow. And there are going to be people that are pissed off. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. There are going to be folks that are pissed off, and that's totally fine. It is what it is. Because I've seen, for whatever reason, a lot of people saying that this O-line is a B- or a B. And I'm like, did we watch the same group last year? Right? And so when I do these grades, right, it's not all based just off of last year, right? Because the rooms change most of the time. But you have to go off of what you know, not based off just potential, not based off what the grade is going to be at the end of the season, what it is right now. And right now, I got the grade at a D+. The offensive line is a liability until proven otherwise. There's no other way you can look at it, guys. I mean, I literally a year ago to the date, basically, I graded this offensive line as a B+ going into the season. I thought it was the strength of the football team. I thought it was one of the better offensive line groups in the conference. Boy, was I wrong. Was I wrong, my friends? So right now, and dude, the expectations I've got for the O-line, they're so low. They're so low. So, I mean, last year you gave up 31 sacks. You ran for less than 4 yards per carry, like 3.8 yards per carry. So, I mean, if you have – guys, you could have a painfully average offensive line this year, and it'd be a massive upgrade. Like that's how bad the O-line was. The O-line was dog shit. Dog shit. Luke RJ's favorite word, dog shit. They were flat out, dude. Flat out. That's why you're seeing them recruit it so heavily. That's why you're seeing them go after O-linemen and D-linemen, trenches. That's why they're going after trenches, guys. Beamer understands. Beamer gets it. It's still a line of scrimmage league. It is still a line of scrimmage league, folks. It's a line of scrimmage league. So. Let's see. Stephen Garcia should be joining us in the next couple of minutes. Really, I got some fun questions for Stephen. If y'all have any questions for Stephen, by the way, leave them in the chat. because there are some, it's funny, people have been commenting, like there are some things, there are some memories that almost I even forgot that I'm like, oh yeah, forgot about that. Oh yeah, forgot about that. And so it's like funny to bring them up and ask Garcia about them. And yeah, so y'all have anything? If y'all have any questions for Stephen? Anything that we have not asked him yet? Because this will really be the last week. This will be the last week. I mean, next week I'm going to really try to circle it around to Georgia State and to, on field. And, we'll still have, of course, lighthearted, loose banter or whatever. But, we're kind of using this time for all of our fun stories and memories for him and stuff like that. Let's see. Austin Griesman, who lines up next to Birch and Huntley next year? Hemingway and freshman. So we think Birch is back, Austin. You think Birch is 110% back? I mean, I maybe that sounds crazy, but if let's just say Birch is back, Huntley's back, yeah, probably Tonka, Nick Barrett, TJ Sanders, and then you'll lean on some of these youngsters incoming. Yeah. Next year is going to be interesting, man. It's tough to project because so much can change in college football, man. So much can change in college football. So much. So Chris Miller, how about he says, how about our improving 2023 recruiting class ranking? Do you think we stay in the top 20? We keep recruiting the way we are, my guy. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we stay in that top 20? I mean, there's no reason we can't stay in the top 20, So, I mean, you gotta love what Shane Beamer's doing on the recruiting trail, which, by the way, guys, Stephen Garcia jumping in here in just a second. He texted me and said, give me 2 minutes. So we are all just waiting on Garcia. All just waiting on Gar. So somebody said, Stephen, do you have any eligibility left? Which is funny because he actually might because, he got suspended. Oh, I know what I'm going to ask Stephen. I got a couple things. We're going. Today is going to be funny. I got some very funny things I want to ask Stephen. So, yeah, dude, Clayton White's a legend. Love Clayton White. Craig Phillips in the TDC Question Channel says, did you see Slapdick Mark Stoops backtracking his comment? I did. He also says, Roach King Monday story time. Roach King Monday story time. There's the Roach King. Here we go. We'll go ahead and get him in here. The Roach King. What's up, man? What's going on?
How we doing?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing? I love the positioning of the seltzer there. That's a beautiful
thing.
Is that your? Don't you have a seltzer, or is that yours, or is that just random?
No, this is one of my buddies from South Carolina College. Actually hit me up last week about this whole brand. It's kind of a wild thing. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm just trying to get involved in as much NIL shit as possible.
Just trying to make a buck.
Right.
No, I hear you, my guy. Well, how's dude? First things first. Congratulations, man. I'm sure everybody in the chat already knows, but the Roach family has increased by one, man. So congratulations to you and yours, man. Really happy for you. And again, for those who tune in the chat that may have missed, Stephen Garcia, girl dad ×2, another one on the way. So what? February 2023, right?
Yep. Yeah. So the due date is actually February 21st. So we're going to try to go 6 days earlier because me and my dad's birthday is actually the 15th. So if we can't make that happen.
And you planned it well after football season. Beautiful. Yep. Beautiful timing. Love that. Won't miss a beat. Stephen, again, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Really excited for this. And obviously we're 12 days away now from kickoff and the intensity's ratcheting up and everything. Everybody's getting excited. And I feel like, next week I really want to try to bring it to, and obviously the conversation will just organically go wherever, but I want to start next week, try to bring it to, the Georgia State game and on the field for Carolina. So we're really going to dive into it. It's funny with you, man. It's like I'll post clips from these conversations and then people are like, hey, can you ask him about this? And there's like things that I forgot about that I'm like, oh, crap, forgot. So It's wild too that we're in an era where some people I'm like, hey, do you remember this? And they just have no idea what I'm talking about. Because at one point when you were a youngster at Carolina, you were one of the lead storylines in college football because of an interaction you had with a referee on a Thursday night. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep.
The LSU game, 2008 Thursday. By the way, that was an electric. That was kind of like I feel like that was kind of your like, I'm here. Like, I'm Stephen Garcia. I'll never forget when you scrambled out of the pocket and you ran. It was like a 15-yard game, but you did the like to the student section, like pump it. That was kind of like, all right, this is the guy. This is the guy we recruited, whatever. But the referee trucking you, which is still on YouTube. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up right now. The ref throws the shoulder, and you're just like laid on the ground, like, what is going on? Like, walk me through that entire deal with that referee. And I mean, dude, he needs to be put on scholarship for somebody. That was a hell of a hit he put on you.
So the week before we played against Kentucky, and I guess we weren't. I didn't think Smelly was playing that bad, but I guess he wasn't playing that well. So Coach Spurrier put me in, and we ended up making a comeback and ended up winning that game in Lexington. So Coach Spurrier wanted to start me. So my first start in college football was against the reigning champion LSU Tigers. So I'm sitting there, I'm like shitting in my pants the whole week. But that's what we signed up for. That's as a player, that's what we're doing. That's why signed to play in the SEC. Anyways, long story short, we did a little zone read. I'm going to scramble or going to run in, and I mean, I feel like I could have scored because it was just me and a safety right there. Except you don't see a referee when you're actually on the field running around. So this son of a bitch fucking slides, and literally just gives me the cold shoulder. And I'm sitting. I'll never forget. I was sitting there. I'm looking on the ground like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Get the fuck out of the way. And Jarrell King, you can see in the video, he's like picking me up and he's like, hey, G, man, calm down, get back. Next play. I'm like, no, man, the fucking guy just drilled me. Like, well, this is bullshit. And you can see the video. I'm like still like talking to the ref. Anyways, come to find out, he was the first African-American All-American linebacker, and he played at Kentucky. So there's like some conspiracy theorists like, oh yeah, he just wanted to knock you off for beating his team last week and all that. And it's actually funny. So it might have been a couple weeks later or maybe the next year. Yeah, I think it was next year. And he's like, hey, Mr. Garcia, you remember me? I was like, yeah, man, how can I forget? He's like, yeah, it's a crazy world we live in. I didn't do that on purpose. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. Just kind of, joking around. And he goes, yeah, it's actually funny. My daughter knows your high school receiver, Evan Cromer, at Western Kentucky. I'm like, oh, no kidding. So it's just a small world, man. And it's just you never know who you're going to get run into or get ran over.
Yeah. Dude, and that was a clip that took college football by storm. Like that was just getting replayed constantly.
Anytime a referee hits, it could be a Pee-wee guy, it could be anybody. They're like, oh yeah, and people tag me, oh, it's Stephen Garcia. Remember this guy? It's like, jeez, man. Ask Garcia about getting hit by a ref. People ask me that all the time. Embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah, that was impressive. Like I said, you could tell he was played at some point because the stick he laid on you. Switching gears a little bit, that Thursday night was electric. It was an electric atmosphere. I'll never forget that. You obviously visited on campus. You visited for a game, yes? I mean, I would imagine so.
No,
you didn't visit for a game. No. And that's what I was going to ask because, Brad Lawing and other coaches have told me, like, Chris, if you get a prospect on campus and you get him in Willie B and you get him to feel that atmosphere, you feel pretty good about your chances of getting them. But so you never experienced that until you stepped foot on campus and were actually playing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what was your first? Was there a game for you where, I mean, you had seen it on TV, but what was like the first game where you're like, holy shit, this is electric. This is jumping.
I mean, really, there was the first game. The first game I actually played in was against Georgia, but I think it was like a noon game, so it wasn't too crazy. At least I didn't feel like, and I wasn't even playing, so it wasn't like. I think I got like maybe 2 or 3 snaps, but yeah, the UAB game, it was a night game, and I think that's when I played I think I was splitting reps with like Tommy Beecher and Chris Smelly that game, and I just remember being like, holy shit, like this is legit. This is a lot of people, and it's loud as hell. But as far as that was probably like my first impression, and then the ultimate one was the Ole Miss game. Yeah. When they were number 4 and we came out and beat their ass pretty good. But that was probably my first like introduction to like how crazy it is.
Yeah. The late great Jevin Sneed leading that team. Crazy.
Yeah.
So we obviously mentioned this and teased this a little bit, Stephen, last week. Your Canadian Football League career. You signed a 3-year deal in 2012 with Montreal. You were on the injured list in 2012. What did you have? What were you injured with? What did you?
Nothing. So what they do up there is,
Fair enough.
so I get off the plane. It's all the rookies or whatever. We get off the plane and we're getting ready to go to the hotel. And I'm sitting in the front seat and I'm talking to the guy, the director of personnel or whatever. And I was like, hey, man, like, I probably should ask you before I got here, or my agent should ask you, but like, what do practice squad guys get up here? And they're like, you make $408 a week, but all your stuff is, covered, like your meals and your stay, like your room and all that. I was like, okay, what does injury reserve guys get? And they said, oh, you get your full salary, you just don't make any of your like incentives or bonuses. I looked at him dead in the eye. I said, if you guys plan on putting me on the practice squad, turn this bus around and send my ass back to Tampa. I'm not living in Canada for $400 a game. So he's like, all right, noted. So Montreal had the Tom Brady of the Canadian Football League up there. Anthony Calvillo, straight 100% Mexican dude. The guy was 43 years old my rookie year, took every single first string rep, every single second string rep, practice reps. I mean, the guy did not let anyone else throw a football during practice. So it was kind of shitty, but it is what it is. And then Coach Tressman left to go to Chicago Bears to be their head coach, and then we brought in Dan Hawkins for that in my second year, and they re-signed Calvillo to a 2-year extension that offseason. So I just kind of went up there, and to be honest, man, I just really didn't give a shit. So I was up there for a little bit, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we're not bringing back for their third year." I said, "That's fine. I don't plan on coming back anyway." So I was also I was in a bad place, mentally after the whole South Carolina debacle. So I honestly, it was just bad timing. I was immature as shit, hard-headed, was trying to blame everybody else except for myself, and, just didn't work out.
Yeah. I was going to ask, were you close to signing with any NFL teams? Because I would imagine if what happened in 2011 didn't happen, I feel confident the 2011 Gamecocks still would have had a really, really good season, 10 or 11, whatever win season. And you, I think, would have gotten drafted. I feel like that would have happened. Were you close to signing with anybody, or?
Yeah, man. Truth be told, I put in my papers after 2010, and Coach Mangus called me and he's like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, no, like we need you back for your senior year. Like, we're gonna make a run at this thing." And I remember getting the grades back, and they were like between 4th and 6th round. And I was like, that's not great, but it's better than nothing. But they convinced me. And I was like, yeah, man, I think you're right. Like, I like where our team is at, and we just come off an SEC championship appearance. Like, why not try to make a legit run at this thing? So I ended up coming back, and that that didn't work out too well for me. But yeah, man, after the season, I took after I got kicked off after the Kentucky game, I probably took like the rest of that season off, and I was just pissed off at the world. Just bad place. Didn't work out. Didn't do anything. Didn't want to talk to anybody. And then I just said, you know what? Why am I wasting my time? Like, I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna start working out. So I ended up working out with a trainer. Got back into it. Had a couple workouts. Went to the combine. It was like the secondary combine up in Detroit. And, played well, talked with a bunch of teams. And then come draft day, the last day, I remember the Bucks called me. And they were like, yeah, we're going to bring you in, or we're going to sign you if nobody signs you or whatever. So I was like, hell yeah, man, I can't wait. This is awesome. Never in a million years I think I'd be able to make it to an NFL roster after, being suspended 5 times and ultimately kicked off the team. And then come to find out, Greg Schiano, who was the coach of the Bucks at that time, ended up going with Zach Collaros, who he played against when he was coaching at Rutgers. So I didn't get any looks from the NFL team after that, and then just went straight up to Montreal.
Right. Did you watch any South Carolina football after the Auburn game?
What do you think?
I don't think you did.
I felt bad. I felt like I was a bad teammate, and right. Looking back, that was extremely.
I'm sure it was painful. It's painful to watch.
Oh, yeah, it was absolutely brutal to try to watch that. Yeah, I wanted nothing to do with the program. Like, to be honest, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So yeah, I did not. To answer your question, no, I did not watch any of the games.
Yeah, and it's crazy too to think that after 2010, they're all convincing you to come back. Obviously, which, I mean, we're all happy you did, but it's funny, like, they're all convincing you to come back, and then literally going into 2012 or 2011, excuse me. I guess Steve Spurrier decides he wants to try to send a message or something because he benched you for the first game to start.
Right.
To start, didn't even start you the first game as a senior.
I
mean, like, okay, this is why I came back. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Exactly. And like, I didn't do myself any favors. I was being an idiot. But at the end of the day, it's like, man, I jumped through all these freaking hoops. You guys asked me. You guys drug tested me every single week, literally every single week. I tell people all the time I'm the most drug tested NCAA player of all time, and I don't even think it's close. But I jumped through all these hoops. I graduated. I signed a contract that I had to graduate. I had to do this. I had to do that, and I literally did everything. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna start Connor." I was like, All right. Yeah, there was a little chip on my shoulder. Yeah. I mean, there still is a little bit, but I was talking with somebody the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, when I was a junior in high school, I was high school All-American, had all these offers. Then I was hanging around the wrong crowd and ended up going to prison for 3 years for jacking cars and selling drugs and stuff." And I was like, "Man, that's a little intense. I wasn't doing all that shit." But he's like, "Yeah, man, but at the end of the day, like, if you dwell on your past, like, you're never going to get out of that hole." Right. And I was like, "Man, you're 100% right. If I would have kept getting kicked off the team and doing all that shit, God only knows where the hell I'd be. I don't even know." Yeah. But if you keep dwelling on the past, you're never going to get out of the hole you're in.
Yeah, and you were painted as the hero in that East Carolina game, which, I mean, you were. I mean, so there's that. So I wanted to move to also back to your pro career, if you will. You did the whole CFL thing. You also played for the Tampa Bay Storm in the Arena Football League. What was Arena Football's got? I just imagine it's like a whole different world playing Arena Football.
It was, you go from the pinnacle of college football, the SEC,
right,
to Canada, which is
not quite the pinnacle.
No. Telling right now, though, there's a lot of players in Canada that should be playing on Sundays.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, Eric Norwood, Corey Boyd, two guys that come to mind that were very good in the CFL.
Oh, absolutely. Very good. And absolutely. I mean, they paid pretty damn well. But then the Canadian taxes just kick you straight in the dick. So there's that. But then you go from that, then you go to Arena Football, and you're playing in a freaking shoebox, and you have to like get your own shoes, you have to get your own equipment. Like, it was very ragtagish. I mean, the quarterbacks, for some reason, we got paid a decent amount. But we had guys that would leave the practice and they'd go work at McDonald's and like would be literally flipping burgers and like frying fries. And then we'd go out like, as a team, and they'd tell these girls, they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm a professional football player." And I'm sitting there like, "No, man, don't tell anybody. That's embarrassing as shit." But yeah, I mean, but again, it's the same thing. It's like you go from playing the SEC to Canada to Arena League. And I'm not trying to shit on any leagues or any players that are doing that kind of stuff. It just, I was mentally just not there. I didn't want to be there. But I had that like fire to still play football, because at the end of the day, man, I love the game. I love what the game does for people in general, players and fans at the same time, communities. It's indescribable, man. And I wish to God that I would have, turned my brain on a little bit earlier and would have realized what this game can do for players. And I think I'd be in a little different position now than, if I would have been a little wiser back then. But shit happens, as they say.
Hey, the joys and the journey, as I always love to say, man. You learn along the way, and it is part of the legend that is Stephen Garcia. On that note, by the way, and this is coming from your Wikipedia page, by the way, which congratulations on having a Wikipedia page. I haven't reached that point yet. But it says on May 14th, 2014, you were placed on league suspension. I got to know what this is about. I have to know.
Oh, my God. This is actually a really funny story. So Derek Brooks, Hall of Fame linebacker for the Bucs, he was the president of the Tampa Bay Storm. So we fly out to, I think we played San Jose that week, and we won. So we're flying. I had like a bunch of points on my American Express for for travel. So we won. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna get everybody on the team. I'm gonna just buy them. I'm gonna buy them a bunch of drinks. So we all get kind of mangled a little bit up in the air, flying to Tampa from San Jose, and a couple of the teammates literally started barking at like other passengers, like "Rah, rah, 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 rah," like just kind of dicking around, and I'm sitting there like, this is weird as shit, but what? Then I'm telling them, hey, sorry, these guys are bothering you. Like, let me buy you guys a drink. They're like, oh, sure, fine, yeah. So, anyways, I thought it was great. I thought everybody had a great time. The passengers, the players are like, hey, Garcia, appreciate it, man. That's awesome. Thank you so much. And then Derek Brooks sees me the next practice. So we had the off day the next day. Then the following day we had practice and meetings. He's like, Steven, I need to see you in my office. So I'm like, what's up, man? How's everything going? He's like, yeah, I want you to read this email. So some lady who I was buying drinks for emailed Derek Brooks and told him that everybody was being belligerent. We were being offensive. We were doing this. And some big guy with long hair was buying everybody drinks. And I was like, yeah, man, I didn't think anybody was being like offensive or rude or anything. Like people were just like barking and stuff. He's like, all right, well, I think we're going to put you on leave suspension. I was like, shocker, man. Like, why not?
Par for the course.
I wish I could talk to him and like have him tell the story. Just because I literally looked at him, I was like, all right, man, that's fine. Like, whatever.
Par for the course.
Yeah.
Right back where I feel comfortable. Right in my comfort zone.
This is perfect, man. I'm home. I'm home now.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man. I see him at Publix. He lives out by me. So I see him at Publix, and I'll say what's up to him all the time. And he's like, hey, man, hope you're doing well. And I was like, yeah, man, you too, man. Am I still suspended from the league or what's going on?
That's still going on. You can never come back. God, what a time. What a time. Now, also in the year 2014, I got to ask this too. This just came to my mind. You had a little media stint. You were hanging out with the quote unquote media boys, as Coach Spurrier would like to say, and you went to SEC Media Days and asked Coach Spurrier a question. And I know he obviously just got I mean, there's the clip obviously on social media. He got a kick out of that. What did you like being on that side of things? Being on the media side?
It was really fun because you couldn't get suspended for anything. You
in the media, getting belligerents, it's encouraged. Much less get a suspension.
Especially for Saturday Down South, man. I mean, it was the Wild Wild West. So I'm sitting there playing. So once I got suspended for the thing from San Jose, this Drew Roberts, who was the CEO, the founder of Saturday Down South, reached out to me on Twitter and was like, hey, man, let me know when you're done playing. I got an offer for you. So I messaged him back. I was like, sure, man, like what's going on? And long story short, he came down and we went to the casino, kind of like wine and dine the whole deal. And we just kind of talked numbers. And I was like, yeah, I'm done playing football. Like I would do the Saturday Down South deal. So, yeah, man, was working with them, with Justin King down there in Orlando, was working out there 2 or 3 times a week. And it was actually really fun. I didn't really know how to do it, if that makes sense. It was completely something I've never been used to. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, there was a really good group of guys. But I got really heavy really quick. I wasn't working out, wasn't training quarterbacks, wasn't doing shit.
I was going to say, you did look a little husky in that clip when you asked Coach Spurrier a question.
I was probably – so the heaviest I've ever been, which was around that time, I was 287. Yeah.
Beef.
I was eating, playing golf, 5 days a week, not lifting, not doing anything. And, they were just throwing money at my face. So I was like, shit, man, this is the life, man. But it was definitely interesting and also pretty cool, like asking Coach Spurrier those questions. And he goes, yeah, I wasn't sure if that was Garcia, if that was a member from Duck Dynasty. And everybody just started dying. I was like, yeah, I mean, I see it.
It's wild, like how quick he is. Just like it's just off the dome. He doesn't even have to think about it. He's just able to do those little one-liners and just like, yeah. I mean, people ask me. I was talking about this with some guys the day. They were asking about Beamer and like, can he, because everybody just sees the warm and fuzzy side of Beamer, the what you see in the media. But I'm like, I've heard from behind closed doors, like he can chew some ass. I mean, you have to as a football coach. That's not probably shocking to you, but to some people, it's like they've just never even heard him say a bad word or anything.
Oh, but he'll let it ride for sure.
Yeah.
He would rip DJ Swearinger's ass, and he would rip Chris Culliver's ass. He'd rip all of them, and they were like, yes, sir. Like, guys that get their ass chewed out, they're worth a shit. They want to get chewed out. They like that. They want to get better.
Yeah.
If you got guys that kind of bitch and moan when they're getting chewed out, then it's going to be,
Yeah.
you don't have that much of a drive, I don't think.
Yeah, and as a coach, you got to command respect. Obviously, you know
Exactly.
that from doing your coaching. I mean, there's a line between being just a total dickhead and being, somebody that players can just walk all over. It's about commanding respect. But what I was going to say is people ask about Spurrier, and I'm like, from the guys I've talked to, and obviously you can attest to this. It's like, and I'm not sure you can tell me like if Spurrier would like berate or chew you out, but he would make you feel like that big if you messed up. He's like, well, we're the ones that recruited you.
Yep. Oh, 100%. 100%. And my flaw was I'd give it back to him sometimes, and it's like you can't do that.
Did you and Spurrier ever get in like a match, like a jawing off match with each other, or like
a couple times? Just because he would just constantly complain. He's like, "Yeah, why do you have a beard? Why do you have long hair? Why aren't you wearing a collared shirt? Why aren't you wearing khakis? Why aren't you wearing shoes?" It's like, Coach, who the hell gives a shit, man? Like, I'm not here to play school. I'm here to play football. Like what is, I'm not playing golf when I'm going to class. I don't know if you know this or not. It's 9,000 degrees in Colombia. Yeah. I'm not playing golf in that weather. I'm gonna wear a t-shirt and like a bathing suit and freaking flip-flops. Like that's just what I'm gonna do, man. And he's like, "Oh shit, all right, that's what you're gonna do. That's what you're gonna do. All right."
Meanwhile, he's out there shirtless at practice.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, Coach Spurrier, what a legend! What a legend!
I wish that I just wouldn't have been so hard-headed, man. It would have alleviated so many freaking arguments and suspensions and so much other bullshit. But as you said, you live and learn.
Yeah. I don't know how much, Stephen, switching gears a little bit, I'm not sure how much you've kept up with it, but have you seen the Mark Stoops, Shane Beamer thing? Have you seen the back and forth, like on social media? Have you?
I saw Stoops and I don't know if it was one of the basketball players or one of the
Calipari. They went back and forth. I don't know if you saw, but Stoops basically made a comment about building climate versus culture and saying that you and I'm going to paraphrase so poorly here, but basically saying that you can do a dance and put on goofy sunglasses and do this, but that doesn't build a culture. That might change a climate, but it doesn't build a culture like they're building in Kentucky. And most took it as he was taking a direct shot at Shane Beamer after the whole Soulja Boy glasses on the video. And so there's been and then Shane Beamer over the weekend at the Gamecock Central Steelheads event said that the climate in our building is hot, but the culture is a whole hell of a lot hotter. I can assure you of that. So just kind of some fun back. And I'm like, dude, we need more of this. Like we need a Spurrier again. Like everybody just goes to SEC Media Days and sort of just says the whatever they say, very bland. Like, bro, like where's the people? I mean, and obviously like Shane Beamer, it's year 2 of his coaching career. So like when you're Steve Spurrier and you can say anything, right? You can just say whatever you want. But yeah, I mean, dude, I miss that, man. I mean, I had people tell me that when he was at Florida, Spurrier, he was the kind of coach, he'd walk out to the 50 and say, all right, we're going to score 50 today. You're going to score 51 to beat us. Like, that's it.
100%, man. And I agree, man. I think that's society in general. Everyone's so afraid of maybe upsetting someone or offending someone. I can't stand it.
Yeah. Now, what I think is so fascinating about Spurrier, guys I've talked to, those like he ran the same plays from Florida to Carolina to he coached in the
the Commanders. The Commanders.
The Commanders, and then the other the pro, whatever the football league was. I forget the name, but I'm
the USFL or
whatever. The AAF or whatever. But guys I would talk to, like, that is the same exact tight end drag play. That's the same. It's like the same hand signals. He was doing the same exact thing, and it still worked.
I know. I mean, they were great. They were great ball plays. Hey, we got a good ball play here.
Was there ever a moment with Spurrier where, I mean, did he do a lot of like kind of drawing it in the dirt, kind of on the fly type stuff, or was it all very scripted, or like was it a mix of both? Or
I think it was a mix of both. I think towards the end of my time with him, I think he was kind of delegating it a little bit more to his son, Coach Junior, to Coach Mangus, a couple of the other coaches. Because I mean, in 2009, 2010, I mean, he was literally we're watching tape, and I'm seeing him. He's like drawing up ball plays, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna put this in here. We're gonna do that," and it got a little crazy. but he also he did not ever want to relinquish his duties as play caller. Like he wanted to be the guy who's calling the plays.
Right. I was going to say for a little bit, I feel like he did, and that was a very short, or not totally relinquished, but I just remember that was a storyline about is Junior calling all the plays, and like that got nipped in the bud fast. Like that was, yeah. So it's just interesting, man. I mean, I talking to Brad Lawing, obviously that coach when you're there, he would tell me, he's like, Chris, if Spurrier knew where your safeties were and what they were doing, just game over. He'd pick you apart, man.
For sure. No, there's no doubt about it. He did not care about any sort of blitz schemes, any sort of coverage schemes, any sort of anything. He said, find the safeties, and then just throw it to where your open guy is.
Yeah, timing, get it to where it's supposed to go. You make Steve Spurrier very happy, for sure.
Yep.
But then again, if you throw a pick, you might get your ass pulled. So there's that too. Or if you fumble the football, which you again know very well.
For sure.
Stephen, this has been a pleasure, man. I feel like there's one thing I was going to ask you, and I'm just drawing a blank for some reason. Oh, I will say this. So we'll close on a high note here, because I'm going through the comments and just seeing if there's anything specifically. So we're doing a season simulation series. We're literally simulating football in a video game. We're just at that point. We're so ready.
Yeah.
We got Tennessee tonight at home. Do you have a vote for what uniform we should wear?
When is that?
So that game is the week before Clemson in real life. Yeah. It's the week before Clemson. We play them super late.
Is that Halloween?
No, it's not. Mizzou is actually the Halloween game this year. It's the 29th of October, but that's the Halloween weekend. I know it's weird. It's very weird.
Halloween. Oh, I miss Halloween in college. Holy shit.
Halloween in Columbia, pretty wild. I mean, I've heard about like ECU and some others, but so it's.
Yeah, Columbia was pretty wild. I think all college campuses are pretty.
Yeah.
But man, I'll be honest. I think I'm a big fan of the all black uniforms. That's just my opinion. I don't know. What color helmets are we wearing this year? Does anybody know?
Well, so I mean, we've got the option now, right? We've got white, garnet, and black. So I mean, but I think Beamer's definitely more of a traditional.
Sure.
We didn't wear the black helmet last year, which I wasn't upset about. I mean, and I like the glossy black over the matte. I feel like matte's kind of lost. Like matte was a fad. I'm not a big matte guy. All right, so I could talk about uniforms, by the way, for hours. Are you more of a traditional uniform guy, or do you like the crazy like Oregon, like just chrome helmet, or would you prefer a traditional look?
I tell us people all the time. The 2010 jerseys that we had were my favorite. I hated the new ones that we had in 2011. I was more of a traditional guy as well. I'd like the all garnet jerseys that we wore. I wasn't a huge fan of the white tops and the garnet bottoms. But again, I also personally don't really give a shit about the uniform. I just want to go out there and hit somebody. That's all I want to do. I want to go out there and talk some shit and, get these guys fired up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm like I said, I love talking uniforms. I loved the 2010s also. I like a more traditional look, to be honest. I'm a very much less is more guy. I think that comes from baseball because you don't really have those crazy uniforms in baseball. It's pretty much just kind of your standard thing. But, I think all black for Tennessee makes a lot of sense. I think they ought to make that game like an all black. We wear all black. They wear all orange or whatever the hell, their white helmets. But, you guys had some fun games against Tennessee. Just recalling that now. There were some fun ones,
sure.
No doubt.
For sure.
So, yeah, for sure. Steven, it's been a pleasure, man. I really appreciate you doing this. Like I said, dude, it's crazy. Next week is game week, dude. Oh, how did I saw high school football obviously got going. I guess your son had his first game, that right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
So he got one drive at the end of the game, man. It was he got his first varsity action. He's a
nice.
little 14-year-old little shit. But I went out there with a bunch of my buddies, and my brother came in from Dallas to watch it and all that stuff, and for the gender reveal. But man, I took one of the videos of him like scrambling and running downfield, got 10 or 12 yards, and I was like, dude, you see this video? Like when I ask you to do dishes or do your laundry or clean your room, I need you to move with this kind of urgency, not walking around like it's a damn zombie. He's like, hey, I was like, no, Memphis, I'm dead serious. Like I don't want you walking around anymore. You got to start moving like that all the time. But I was really proud of him. It's not easy, going in as a 14-year-old freshman playing against, 17, 18-year-old kids that have been, playing for 4 years and weigh 100 pounds heavier than you. So I was really proud of him. And, hopefully he's got a legit shot in future.
You think he could be the next Garcia SEC quarterback or what?
Hopefully. I tell him all the time. He's like, I want to get number 5. He was number 19 this past Friday, and I said, why? I said, be your own guy, man. Be your own number. Like, I don't want you to be me. I want you to be better than me in so many different ways. So be your own guy, man.
I actually wore number 19, so shout out to Memphis. Hell yeah, love that. You got to vote for 19 from me. That's
Johnny,
awesome, man. Yeah, yes, exactly. Stephen, always a pleasure, my man. Thank you so much again. Next week, my friend, it is game week. We are officially getting into game week. We'll be talking on-field action. We got a lot to dive into with Georgia State, and obviously every single Monday. I know everybody's looking forward to getting your takeaways, your feedback, talking X's and O's, and obviously just breakdowns of everything, and obviously continue the great conversation. So, Stephen, always a pleasure, my friend. Again, congratulations on growing the Roach family by another one. And, dude, I'm so excited to get into the football stuff and get into the season. Of course, we got week 0 this weekend with Nebraska and Vanderbilt's playing, and there's some other games. And SEC football, man, it's finally here. So, Stephen.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. We talking season, as Coach Spurrier like to say, it's almost over. It's time to shut up and go hit somebody. So
yes, sir.
We love that. Stephen, always a pleasure, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
Yes, sir. Sounds good, man.
Take care. Love it. Stephen Garcia, the Roach King. Yet another fantastic conversation, man. I'm just every time we do that, it will never get old. It will never get old. Stephen, I'm blessed to call a great friend of mine, and the conversation's always electric. And really appreciate Stephen. Really appreciate Stephen, man, taking his time to do that. And again, like I said, guys, next week's game week. Really excited to get his feedback on X's and O's and what Spencer Rattler's seeing and just what's happening with the Gamecocks. And we'll talk a lot more about that Georgia State game, and of course Sean Elliott, because Coach Elliott was there when Stephen was there. But I mean, the conversation, the beautiful thing about it, guys, it is so free flowing, it's so organic, and it feels like there's always a viral clip or two coming from these combos because of the great things that Stephen Garcia has to say. Truly a legend, man. Incredible. And again, appreciate him taking the time. Guys, we're going to go ahead and jump into our first break, but I want to continue to hear from you, and we're going to start taking your questions, your comments, your calls, all that more. We're talking today's podcast, the position unit preview series. Of course, we are rolling. We're hot here on a Monday. Again, want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Monday, August the 22nd, 2022. Again, in case you missed it, Stephen Garcia. I want to say thank you to Stephen for joining us each and every single Monday. He's on the airwaves, 12:15 to about 12:45 or 12:50. Guys, if you didn't miss the conversation, if you did miss it, you can go back and watch, of course, on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you're checking this out, you can go back and watch. Or be sure to go subscribe to the Daily Crow podcast, the podcast version of this show. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, guys. It drops every single day right after this show around 3 o'clock or so. Drops every single day. So you can go check it out there when you're on the go. You can go back and listen to the Daily Crow. And again, I appreciate those who tune in to the Daily Crow podcast version. Also, make sure you go rate the show on iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. Go rate the show 5 stars. Leave us a review if you don't mind. Helps boost the podcast. And again, I appreciate y'all. Again, guys, we are live here taking your questions, your comments, your calls. I do want to hear from you. Again, a big podcast today as we talk Gamecocks offensive line, which... would anybody argue that that's not the biggest question mark on this football team? I mean, I look at this team. I don't think there's a bigger question mark than the offensive line. Because we want to believe, right? We want to believe they'll be better. We want to believe South Carolina's offensive line is going to make a major improvement, right? And here's the good news. They can't be worse than they were last year. They just literally can't. 31 sacks, less than 4 yards per carry. They cannot be worse than they were a year ago. What's so weird for this group is this, guys. What's so weird for this group is this. 129 career starts return, right? Your entire 2 deep is back. You've got 7 guys in your 2 deep that have started 6 or more games in a season. I tell you those things alone, and you're like, man, that O-line's going to be a strength. That O-line's going to be dependable week to week to week for this football team. That's just not the case with South Carolina. That's just not the case. How valuable is experience when it's not great experience? How valuable is experience when those guys haven't played good football, right? Had a good season in 2020, were abysmal in 2021. I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. But, it's just, unfortunately, guys, it's a major, major question mark until proven otherwise. That's the only way you can look at it going in this season. We've talked a lot about Antoine Wells and Rattler and Stogg and Josh Vann and the running backs. Doesn't mean a hill of beans if you can't block. It doesn't mean anything if you cannot block and give your guys a push. Ken's with a question. Do you think Georgia State's better than Vandy? Your prediction score for the games are fairly similar. Ken's, I'd probably say they're pretty comparable, honestly. Do you think Georgia State would beat Vanderbilt? I'd be willing to say Georgia State actually would beat Vandy. So, yeah, I guess I do think Georgia State's better than Vandy. Guys, when it comes to score predictions, right, not everything, A plus B equals C. That's not really quite how predictions work, right? So, it's not like, well, you picked us to win this one by 20, but this one by 21. So what, you know what I mean? It's like, that's just how I see the games playing out. Those are the scores that popped in my head. But yeah, I would take Georgia State to beat Vanderbilt. Yes. Rebecca's in the chat. Rebecca, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, Rebecca. And guys, here's the crazy thing. You listen to the show today. My expectations for the offensive line, I'm keeping them very realistic. 4 yards per carry or more on average, and 25 or less sacks surrendered this year. If this offensive line can just give you that, I'll take that as a success. That's how bad you were last year. That's how bad you were. This O-line was abysmal. 129 career starts back. Entire 2 deep. Greg Atkins is finally healthy again. Steady hand at QB. Does it all lead to more productivity from the offensive line? Or do we see more of the same, and it is a struggle week after week after week after week? Yes, the O-line had bright spots last year, for sure. But as a whole, it was abysmal. Nobody would argue you differently. It was abysmal. It was abysmal. And that's where we need to see the greatest growth in this football team is the offensive line taking the next step. The offensive line, you just can't have that much experience and be as bad as they were a season ago. You just can't. Austin Griezmann, how much does Stogner bolster the offensive line? Well, the offensive line will get a boost from Nate Adkins. From Nate Adkins. I've heard he's one of the top blockers on the O-line. Austin Greer says the offensive line will be fine, or being a little dramatic on this Monday. Austin, I think you're just grasping at straws saying that, and you're just throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. I don't know what would cause you to say that. 31 sacks last year, less than 4 yards per carry. Let's not pretend like the O-line's not a humongous question mark going in the season. It's not. There's no guarantee the offensive line will be fine. I thought the offensive line was going to be a strength last year, and it was one of the worst in the league. So I think you're limited up front. I think probably best case you're a bottom third of the league offensive line. But I think if the offensive line is just average, you can win 8 games. Just be average. Just give us a chance. Just give us a chance. AJ Bauer says, I think the O-line will play better, and they'll step up even better week 2 against Arkansas. Again, AJ Bowers, they'll play better because they can't be worse. Literally can't be worse. And that's why I'm picking Arkansas to beat South Carolina week 2. I mean, obviously, guys, I'm hoping and praying to God it doesn't happen. I hate the matchup. I hate the matchup. Arkansas, a lot of experience back up front. Both sides. I don't think it sets up well. I don't think it sets up well both sides, offensively and defensively. I don't think it sets up well. I don't think it sets up well either way. You got to run the ball. You got to stop the run. Arkansas strong on both sides. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby Hall of Famer.
To accept, press
A new
1.
tag. Robbie Davis, what's going on, my friend? I like the new tag, Zaxby's Hall of Famer. I love that. What's up?
Figured I'd change it up a little bit.
I like that. Very good.
I might as well embrace both of my tags, I guess you could say.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
But I look at the offensive line like this, okay? And now bear with me because I'm going to try and explain this the best I can, okay?
All right.
An offensive line, when it comes to a football team, same with a defensive line, okay? But specifically the offensive line, okay? The offensive line needs to be like an absolute, somewhat well-oiled machine, okay? Right? Because if you got a car engine, right? Say in your car, right?
Mm-hmm.
One small thing goes wrong in that engine, you ain't going nowhere, okay? It's gonna sputter, it's gonna make a bunch of racket, and it ain't gonna do nothing, right?
Right.
There is only one thing that we need to do, and that is quite simply prove to the people that think you are going to suck at something, don't say anything. Just go out there and prove it. Don't say anything about how well you've been practicing. Don't say nothing. Just go out there and prove that you've gotten better during the off season and during camp. Just go out there and do your job, what you're there to do. It's simple. And honestly, did I hear you correctly? Did you say we were only averaging 4 yards a carry last season?
Last year, I think we averaged 3.8 yards per carry. That was the final tally.
Less than 4 yards?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Come on. Are you kidding me?
I wish I was kidding you. I'm as serious as a heart attack, my guy.
I would see this offensive line as a success, okay, if we're averaging 5 to 4 or 5 to where we're getting to where it's like 2nd and 6 or 3rd and second and like 3. That is the key to having a great offense. Not getting into 3rd and 8s and not getting into 3rd and 5s and staying somewhere between second and like 6 or second and 4. If we do that, along with scoring points, like I have said before, and I'll say it again, if we do that, we will pull off some upsets. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think anything over 4 yards per carry on average is a success. I mean, AJ Bauer says in the chat we need to move to 6 to 6.5 yards per carry this year. I think that's unrealistic, man. That's you think this O line is going to go from 3.8 to 6.5? I don't, dude. If we're at 4.5 yards per carry, I will be ecstatic after what I saw last year.
Yeah, if we're averaging 4 yards a pop, I'll take it.
And I don't think that'll even be. I don't think
yards a pop. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that'll be great, but it's, the floor is really low.
Better than last year.
Right, the floor is low. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly, I'm curious to see outside of Josh Vann, who's going to really step up as a wide receiver this year. Obviously, it ain't going to be Joyner. No disrespect to Joyner, but he is not that great of a receiver, like I've said before. But I'm curious, outside of Josh Vann, who's going to step up outside of Josh Vann and Stogner, okay? Who else is going to step up and be like, okay, you can come to me, and you can take the load off of these 2 guys. So now they got 3 dudes plus Bell to worry about, okay? Plus, and trust me, I didn't forget about Bell. And you got Bell to worry about. Plus, you got the driver of the vehicle, which is Spencer Rattler, okay? Just go out there and just every week prove a point. Prove the point on the scoreboard and on the field. If you just go out there and take care of business, everything else will fall into place. And we'll be heading to a bowl game before you realize what's going on.
Indeed, man. Can't wait. No, I think it's going to be a good year, but like you mentioned, all those questions, dude. It's there are questions to be answered for sure.
And they probably won't be answered come next week. Okay. We'll know more about this team in week 2 and 3 than we will in week 1.
Yeah.
No slight to Georgia State, but if we don't play well against Georgia State or anybody for that matter, we could lose, okay?
Yeah, that's a fact. I mean, that's a fact. It's interesting how the first 3 weeks set up, where I feel like Georgia State kind of sets the tone for Arkansas. Arkansas sets the tone for Georgia. And, some people would argue Georgia sets the tone for sort of the rest of the year. So, it's
right.
We won't be able to draw conclusions from week 1, but we'll learn some things. We'll learn some things. I mean, I think that last year we didn't want to draw conclusions, but you saw it from week 1 that the offensive line wasn't.
It was not.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It wasn't great. Yeah, it wasn't what we were hoping.
It was. Yeah, it was at times hard to watch.
Yeah.
At one point, I sat there watching, and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a high school team get absolutely manhandled by a college team. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't know his name at the time, but I was like, whoever our offensive line coach is, his seat's getting hot. That was what
Greg Adkins.
That was my thoughts last
Greg
week.
Adkins is the name we're looking for.
Right. But I think he's going to get them ready for sure, because he wants to show that we have a better offensive line than last year. But the only way we're going to find out is next Saturday.
Which
and the
feels
week after
which
that, and
feels
the week after that,
which
and so on and
feels
so on.
so good to say. Next Saturday it's happening. Let's freaking go. This time next week's gonna be game week.
Yeah, oh, dude, next week's gonna feel like an eternity for me. Okay, because once we hit game week and stuff, oh my goodness, week is gonna go by so slow for me. Like it'll be Tuesday, but it'll feel like Monday, or it'll be Wednesday and feel like Tuesday. It'll be all out. I'll be so pumped up and ready to go. It'll be insane.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the other things that I'm really kind of sort of concerned about, which I feel like I should be concerned about, is who in the heck is going to be our starting linebackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna separate themselves and actually want to be on the field? Because like you said before, we don't really have linebackers that can, they don't play well. All right, they just don't. Maybe this year they shock us. Who knows? I don't know. But if your secondary is averaging more tackles than your linebackers and your defensive linemen, something's not right. Okay? Something is not right, and something needs to be fixed. Because that is pretty dang sad if one of your safeties or your corners is averaging more tackles than your linebackers and defensive linemen. That's really, really sad.
Yeah, Robbie. Yeah.
And I feel like in week 2, we'll really see what this team is made of, and in week 3, and so on and so forth. But I do think we'll go into the season opener next week and take care of business and give Georgia State their check and say thank you for coming and getting your butt kicked.
Indeed. Now, I'm excited, man. We'll talk a lot more about Georgia State next week, predictions, all that. I'll lock in my prediction again, but I'm excited, man. It's right around the corner. Robbie, always a pleasure, my guy. You always bring the heat.
Hey, and my dad's got a show tonight, by the way, in the Moncks Corner area at Dreamers, if anybody knows where that's at. So if you're over by Dreamers, I don't know how much the tickets are, but he's going to be featuring there at Dreamers.
Right. Huh. Okay. Moncks Corner. So, go check him out. Uncle Boudreaux. Go check him out.
All right, man. I will talk to you later. Have a great rest of your day, and go Gamecocks, and hell with Clemson. Doggone it, you bunch of losers. All right, buddy. I'm going to get over here. Have a good one.
You the man. Appreciate you. Always good stuff. Let's dive into these questions because we got a lot of them rolling in. I see AP All-American team just dropped. Cam Smith's second team. Love to hear that. Let's see. Rebecca, again, I see you and I appreciate you. Mark Regal says, are you guys serious? The offensive line problems were way overblown. Way. Did we watch the same games last year? Hindsight, Zaquandre White should have started the entire year. Mark. Z White had a fantastic year, and I don't disagree with you that it was questionable the way some personnel was used. You're not going to win many arguments with folks arguing in favor that the offensive line, like in some weird universe, actually had a good 2021. 3.8 yards per carry, 31 sacks. Those are the numbers. Bottom line, you are what the numbers say you are. I hate to tell you, but you are. Did the offensive line come on late? Yes, they took advantage of a porous North Carolina front. Not trying to take anything away, but Brad Lawing himself told me that. Chris, that was the worst defensive line they played all year long. I could have told you it was going to happen. Ran the ball well against Florida. Ran it well in spurts late. What happened at Mizzou, Mark? What happened at Mizzou? They just went to Missouri and averaged 1.6 yards per carry, 56 yards against like basically the worst rushing defense in all college football. You tell me what happened. Again, 3.8 yards per carry, 31 sacks. O-line was abysmal last year. There were many things that did not help their case, right? Kevin Harris wasn't fully healthy. Changing in the hand at quarterback, the carousel that was at QB. Hey, I understand Greg Atkins not being healthy the entire year, but the O-line was trash. The O-line was trash last year, Mark. And if you can't accept that, I don't know what to tell you, but it was. That doesn't mean they're going to be trash this year, but it was trash last year. It was. For the most part, it was trash. How would you grade the O-line's performance last year? I would call it a D-. The only reason it's not an F is because there were some good games sprinkled in there, but it was a D-, no doubt. No doubt. Mark Riegel also says, enough with this Dak Joyner disrespect. No shitting, he's not a receiver. He's a quarterback. Had he started at quarterback the last 3 years for us, no telling how many more games we would have won. This is just an exhausting comment. Mark, I don't know who's shitting your Wheaties this morning, my guy, but Mark Riegel's bringing the heat. He's upset. I love it, too. I love it. The beauty's in the banter. Nobody's trying to shit on Dak Joyner saying he's not a good wide receiver. He just isn't. He's not a, like you're mentioning, he's not a receiver by trade. And, Mark, at the quarterback thing, we could just – this could go on and on and on. I don't know what to tell you, Mark. 2 different coaching staffs don't think he's a quarterback. So what does that say? I don't know. Austin Greer with a hot take says Josh Vann will be wide receiver 3 by end of the year. I don't know if Austin Greer's got something against Josh Vann or what it is. No, I mean, I hear you. Hey, listen, I know you're a believer in Antoine Wells. I like Antoine Wells as well, and I guess you would say Corey Rucker is going to be wide receiver 2. Hey, if Josh Vann's wide receiver 3, Austin, that's honestly a good thing because that means we've got a pretty deep wide receiver room. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I don't really care who's wide receiver 1. I just want to see an explosive offense and see us make plays. Luke RJ says Z White definitely should have started every game. Yeah, again, I do question some of the ways that personnel was used, the way personnel was used. Let's see. DGD, what's up, man? What's going on, DGD? Luke RJ, slapdickery. Slapdickery indeed. There's always slapdickery going on. Let's see. Joseph not trying to win a pissing competition. Yeah, I mean, listen, Zaquandre White blew up last year. Who's going to be the Zaquandre White this year? Could it be Lavassier Carroll? Could it be? Who knows? Let's see. Holy smokes. We got a lot of questions. Mark Riegel, his last game was at quarterback. What happened, Mark? We completely understand, my guy. But again, they thought so highly of that performance, they moved him back to wide receiver. So, listen, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you what's happening. I love what Dak Joyner did in the bowl game. Do I think we would have won more games last year had he started every game? No. But I think fans should honestly look at that as like, you know what? That was a fantastic moment. That was a storybook type of deal, right? Just embrace it for what it is and don't try to make more out of it. Like, that doesn't mean that Dak Joyner should have been starting at quarterback the last 3 years. That's not what that means. Because again, 2 different staffs. 2 different staffs, man. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I just want to win. I don't give a damn who the starting quarterback is, believe it or not. I don't give a damn. Right? But I mean, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Let's see. Luke RJ, the reason people think the O-line might be better is because of Rattler at QB, better communication, second year in Atkins. Yeah, Luke RJ, and those are very fair. Second year in the system, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing that I want to see from the offensive line. I just don't want to see any more communication issues. I can live with getting beat off the line of scrimmage. I can live with just not being as good as the Georgia defensive line or the A&M defensive line, even the Clemson defensive line. I can live with that, just not winning a matchup. It is what it is, man. That's why you recruit. That's why you go get good players. But, like, the miscommunication shit we saw and guys just whiffing on blocks and that's got to stop. I mean, you cannot have the amount of experience South Carolina has. I will say, though, I do believe second year in the system is a very, very big deal. I mean, you think about what this offensive line, guys, has had to go through in regards to, what is this, the first time they said in 3 seasons they've got the same offensive coordinator in back-to-back years? I mean, it's crazy. That's crazy when you think about it. Absolutely crazy. Let's see. Robbie Davis for QB1. Mark Riegel, he's a better quarterback than Zeb Nolan and Colin Hill. That's fact. Well, Mark, 2 coaching staff disagree with you. So maybe you ought to put in your application for quarterback coach. Let's see. James Kendall, happy Monday. Yeah. Hey, I love it. I love it, man. I love the fact we can have banter on this channel. We can have banter here on this show. I love that. Jeff Gullidge, I don't think, just to preface, I don't think anybody thinks Dak Joyner is better than Spencer Rattler. Nobody believes that. Nobody believes that. So, no, Brian Mobley. I just think there's a lot of people. He says, "What's the argument for Joyner at QB?" Rattler didn't come here to ride the pine. I mean, listen, I think there's just a lot of people that feel some type of way for Joyner. He hasn't, and you know what? Here's the thing I'll say about Dak Joyner too, though. It's unfortunate for him because he was a player under Will Muschamp who didn't know how to develop offensive talent to begin with. So it's just really hard to judge what type of quarterback he could have been under a capable coach. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough. So what an interesting career. I mean, we're all pulling for Dakereon Joyner to have a massive year. I mean, nobody deserves it more than that guy, right? For what he's done for kind of football and sticking it out and I mean, we're all pulling for him. Obviously, we're all pulling for him. We got a couple of texts. Travis Allen says you can't have half the O-line in run block and the others in pass protection the same play. Happened several times last year. Yeah, it was. The O-line was a mess. Cody says, I think our O-line will be better overall, but I think Rattler's mobility makes them look better than they may be. Last year, no quarterback we had could really move. Well, I guess, Cody, I guess to your point, Luke Doty was not 100%. Because I was going to say, I mean, Luke Doty can scoot a little bit. But to your point, yeah, we did not get the most mobile version of Doty for sure. Guys, the questions are rolling in. The banter is hot. Love it. Hey, we're getting the week started on a high note. We're going to jump into a quick break, but I want to continue to hear from you, more of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. On the other side, you're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Let's see here. Let's see. Mark Regal says, you ain't pulling for Dak. You shit on every chance you get. Stop with the fake praise. Is this Dak Joyner's burner account or what? Bro, everybody's pulling for Dakereon Joyner. I'm just saying he's not a good wide receiver. That's not shitting on him, Mark. That is a fact. I'm appreciative of Dak Joyner. Like, I don't know what has gotten into you today, but I don't know what bone you're trying to pick, but the slap dickery is oozing out of you, my guy. I don't know what's going on. Look at Mark Regal. Where's yours, Trevor? Listen, I ain't no head football coach, my guy. I'm just a guy with a mic and a podcast, my dude. I just a guy who talks a little shit every now and then. Stop playing on Dak's name. 2 biggest wins at South Carolina in the last 4 years were with him at the helm at QB. Again, nobody's not appreciative of Dak Joyner for the UNC game. And to insinuate that he won the Georgia game is laugh out loud funny. I mean, listen, I'm appreciative that he came in and was able to hold on to the lead and not turn the football over and do anything to lose the football game. But come on, man. Like, you act like he started the Georgia game in 2019 and won the football game. Like, give me a break. Give me a break, dude. I don't know. I don't know who hurt Mark Regal. I don't. Again, nobody – this is not an anti-Dakereon Joyner chat. This is not an anti-Dakereon Joyner show. This is very much so a pro-Dakereon Joyner show. We love Dakereon Joyner. We got nothing but love for Dakereon Joyner. But the realities of Dakereon Joyner, we could just probably spend an entire 2-hour Daily Crow talking about Dakereon Joyner because he is a guy that it's such a mystery because he's not a great wide receiver. God, that's and I mean to his credit, he's not a receiver by trade. And Mark Regal says, no bone to pick. I hear some of the dumb shit you say. I'm going to call it out. I got time. Mark, I encourage you to call in, my guy. I encourage you to call in. Hey, you're helping me with the comments, the beauties and the banter. I love it. Let's have at it, Mark. We got a Dakereon Joyner stan. I don't know if he's paying you off to say what you're saying or what, but we got a Dakereon Joyner stan over here. Listen, we love Dakereon Joyner. We got nothing but love for Dakereon Joyner. We got nothing but love for the guy. Mark Regal, I do not talk junk about Dakereon Joyner every episode. I very much so hardly ever talk about Dakereon Joyner. Again, a slapdick's going to slapdick, and Mark Slapdick Regal's at it today. The slapdickery's coming out. We all got love for Dak Joyner. He's not a great wide receiver, my guy. That's not up for debate. Look at the stats last year. He had like 240 receiving yards, and that's okay. He's an athlete, and he's a damn good athlete at that, but he's not a quarterback either. He's not a starting quarterback either. Mark, nobody gives a shit about your VA appointment or how many years you put in, my guy. I can promise you, nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn. You're more than welcome to call the phone line when you got a minute, and I'll play your voicemail on the show, the Daily Crow, the podcast. Spit your spit, my guy. Love to hear it. I mean, nobody on this show dislikes Dak Joyner. So if I don't know if like that makes you feel better inside. You're like, oh, they hate on Dak. No, we don't. Everybody loves Dak on this show. But you call it as you see it, my guy. He's an athlete. He's a damn good one at that, but not a great wide receiver. He's not a quarterback by trade. I think you can use his athleticism this year weekly to help you, but he's not going to be a guy that's one of your top options on offense. Mark, again, call in. I would love for you to call in. I would love it because I don't even know what your argument is. I don't even know what your argument is. I don't even know what you want to argue about. Because, again, we like Dak Joyner. I've said nothing but things that are very justifiable opinions on Dak Joyner. He's not an elite wide receiver. He's probably at best case wide receiver 4 on this team, probably wide receiver 5, maybe. I mean, if Dak Joyner, I mean, and I didn't even list him at wide receiver 5. Wide receiver 5 on my depth chart. If Dak Joyner's in our top 5 wideouts, that's a bad thing because that means we are not as deep at wideout as I thought. Mark, I'm laughing too, man. Listen, the beauty's in the banter. I love it. You're just feeding me, my guy. You're feeding me. And we're not turning this into the Mark Regal show, but I don't even know where Mark's coming from. Like, This is not a we hate Dak Joyner show. This is not a TSUS fully supports Dak Joyner, loves Dak Joyner. I mean, dude, the bowl game against UNC will be one of the great memories we have forever. I mean, truly it will. But he's not QB2. He's not an SEC quarterback. He's not an elite SEC wide receiver. That's okay. I'm not asking Dak Joyner to be anything he's not. Just be a great athlete, and it's on Marcus Satterfield to use him in a way where we get the most out of his athleticism. I'm pulling for Dakereon Joyner to be a part of our offense. So I don't even know what kind of angle you're coming from. Hey, and I feel for Dak for not getting developed the way he should have under a guy like Will Muschamp. It's a damn shame. I feel for him. I feel for Helinski. I feel for all those guys that played under Will Muschamp. And I guess that's just something when you're getting recruited, you've got to be able to determine that, is this a good idea? That's why, like, I wasn't all that upset when we lost Gunnar Stockton, because any quarterback who would willingly go play for Will Muschamp, I question your sanity. Like, truly. Look at the guy's track record. He ain't never had one worth of shit. That he made better. That he made better. I've never seen it. Right? So, again, I don't really know where people get so worked up about Dak Joyner. It's like, it's okay. It's okay, my guy. Just calm down. Hey, just calm down. It's all right. It's all right. It's going to be okay. I'm here for you. We're here for you. Here's an interesting take. Zakara21 says, unpopular opinion, he probably could have been a good DB. Weren't other schools recruiting him that way? Yeah. Alabama and Clemson both recruit him as a defensive back. So what does that tell you? What does that tell you? I love it. Y'all keep giving Mark hell in the comments. I mean, you come into this chat, you come into this show, Mark, and you say slapdick things and you act as a slapdick, you will get treated as a slapdick, my guy. Hey, sorry, you got to wear it today, man. Mark, you got time. You got time to be a slapdick today, I see, because that's all you being today is a slapdick with these comments. I don't know, my guy. I don't know. You just being a slapdick at your VA appointment. You put all them years in just to be a slapdick, my guy. I don't know what to tell you. That's a tough look. That's a tough look. All right, let's get into some other questions. I know there's other people leaving questions. We're not making this the Mark Slapdick Regal show. Let's see. Again, I would love for you to call in tomorrow because I don't even know what the argument is. What's your argument? That Dak Joyner's a Heisman contender? Like, give me a break. Mark, I love it. I love seeing Mark all pissy. I love that. I mean, if you're going to throw the heat, my guy, you got to take it back. Hey, that's what I do. I take the heat. I take it from you. I take it from everybody. It's fine. It's all just sports, my guy. It's all just sports. And then Mark comes in and gets his feelings hurt. So let's see. Jonathan Lee says, not so much mobile, but a quarterback play that knows how to use the pocket and when to step up or run. We didn't have that at all last year. Yeah, Zeb was a statue. Luke ran too soon. Rattler will make the O-line look better, but we still need development of the position plus talent, which looks like what Beamer's doing with this year's class. Yeah, I'd love to see it. I know a lot of people don't get that excited for like when guys – offensive lineman commit. I love seeing it because I think Shane Beamer understands, again, that's where it's built. That's where it starts. You build a football team, as we talked before, from the inside out. That's where you build it, right? You got to have those guys up front. Bottom line. You got to have those guys up front. Mark is DK's uncle. Yeah. Mark says, this is nothing. I'd crush anyone you can comment. Mark, I highly encourage you to call in tomorrow, my guy. I highly encourage you. Because maybe I can hear out your side and we can go back and forth. Like, you know what? You're right about some things. I don't even know what your argument is. That you're a DK jock rider? That's about all I've picked up from you so far. That's about it. And it's like, we're all Gamecock fans and we're all pulling for Dak Joyner. So again, what is your point? What is your point? I don't even know what the point is anymore. I don't even know what the argument is. Let's see. Austin Griesman. I got my names mixed up. Coaches talking up Doty in fall camp. Could be big for next year with 3 to 4 years of eligibility remaining with a year learning behind Rattler. Yeah, no, I think that's really big for Luke. That's big for all the quarterbacks. Having a guy like Rattler, those guys not having to be forced into action too early, for sure. I think it's huge. And you love hearing what you hear about Luke Doty and Luke's kind of like a Dak Joyner where it's he's all Gamecock and you want guys like that to succeed, man. You really do. So I mean, we want them all to succeed. Believe it or not, we even want Dak Joyner to succeed. Mark Riegel, we want Dak Joyner to succeed. But no, we want them all to succeed. And so you love hearing what you're hearing about Luke Doty, and I'm sure being behind Rat is helping him out a lot. I'd imagine so. Let's see. Garrett H., which unproven new guy do you personally want to have a big year, and which one does USC need to have a good year, and is it the same person for both answers? Let's say aside from Rattler. Okay, which unproven new guy? Antoine Wells, for sure. I mean, we need Antoine Wells to have a good year. Listen, I want them all to have a good year. I'm not biased. I want this one guy to have a good year versus this one. I want them all to ball out. I want everybody to ball out. I want us to go 15-0. We all do. Antoine Wells Jr., though. I mean, listen, there's so much hype around him, and everybody acts like it's a sure thing. And maybe it is. Maybe I'm not giving enough credit, but he's unproven, man. He's never caught a pass in the SEC level. Is there a transition? This is not James Madison. He's not going up against the guys in that conference on a week-in, week-out basis. Again, I'm very excited for Antoine Wells. The athleticism, the speed, and he wasn't just an FCS receiver. He was a record-setting FCS receiver, right? 15 touchdowns in a season for James Madison. So of all the guys that I think needs to have a good year, I think Antoine Wells, because, I mean, you think about it, man, we're kind of putting all of our hopes, or a lot of our hopes for the passing game on a guy like Antoine Wells, right? We need him to ball out. We need him to play up to the potential or the hype and the expectation that everybody's set on him, bottom line. Let's see. John Edward, Chris, are you skeptical with Wells or about Wells because of what happened with E.J. Jenkins last year? No, I'm not. Again, Mark Riegel's probably going to get his feelings hurt because he probably loves E.J. too, but E.J. Jenkins was a guy coming from St. Francis, was good for them, but I mean, I just think it's different. I think it's different. The things we're hearing about the players too, the things I heard about E.J. Jenkins from behind closed doors about, one of the reasons he went to St. Francis, he just can't get open. He can't get off coverage. Like, believe it or not, I know 6'7". Yeah. So I don't know. So no, I'm not skeptical though. No, that does not make me skeptical. No, it does not. Luke RJ says, let me give some input about this Joyner stuff. I think Mark Riegel saying if Joyner played quarterback the last few years, they gave him a chance at quarterback, we would have won a lot more games. That's it. Well, first off, we'll never know, Luke RJ. Second off, again, there's been two different coaching staffs that have thought not only he isn't a starting quarterback, but he isn't even a quarterback at all. That's just, I'm the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Y'all love Shane Beamer, right? We all love Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer don't think he's a quarterback. They don't think he's a QB. They looked at the QB situation for 12 games last year, and not once did they have a thought to put him in. Like, why? Why is that? I mean, trust me, it's baffling to me too, but that's what they think. I mean, I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. Would we have won more games last year with Dakereon Joyner in at quarterback? I can't say for certain. I cannot say. The UNC game was awesome. Would that have worked on a week in, week out basis? I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's just so hard to say. It's so hard to say. I don't know. But two coaching staffs have disagreed. Craig Godwin, Jalen Brooks over under 25 catches this year. Definitely under. Way under. I'll just say under. We just have so many other options. I mean, the guy missed spring ball, missed a lot of last year. So, no. I love Dak Joyner. I love Dak Joyner. I do. But it's interesting at the quarterback position. What was Dak's freshman year again? Was it 18? Was his freshman? He's been there forever. Been there forever. I don't know. 18, something like that. I don't know. Either way, hey, we are going to jump into one final break, guys. But I'm going to continue to hear from you. I want to continue to hear this banter, man. Y'all bringing the heat today, and I love that. More of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, your comments, your calls as well, 843-790-3377. And I will say this on a serious note. I want Mark Riegel to call in. Guys, you all know on this show, it's never personal. It's all love. It's all sports. Like, the beauty's in the banter, truly. Like, there are no ill will, personal feelings. I just love the debate, and we love the discussion. So whatever Mark thinks, I can respect. We can respectfully disagree if we got points we disagree on, because I see Mark Riegel saying he didn't like Steve Spurrier, which it's a bold take. That's a bold take. He said never liked Spurrier. Here we go. Y'all can praise him. I look at his 9-10 record his last 2 years and his lax recruiting. Well, I'll tell you this, Mark. Fair, right? He went 9-10, lax recruit, whatever. The way it ended, I will happily trade that for the fact that Steve Spurrier gave us all, including you, the greatest memories in the history of our South Carolina fandom. Until that changes, that's the reality. That's the reality of his tenure. So I am very appreciative and thankful for Steve Spurrier. Thank God. Hey, without Steve Spurrier, these expectations and all that, we don't have them. We don't have them. So I hear you the way it ended. Listen, I hear you the way it ended. You cannot like him. That's totally fine, and you can die on that hill, but life is too short to hold those type of grudges, I think. I think you've got to just appreciate what Steve Spurrier did for Carolina football, bottom line. That's just my take, though. That's my take. We can agree to disagree because I love Steve Spurrier. Anyways, let's see. And also, I don't blame – I don't know. I don't blame Spurrier for Lorenzo Nunez's lack of development. I just think Lorenzo Nunez couldn't throw the football. I don't know. It just – the passing game, the passing side of things really just – he just never figured it out. Just never figured it out. So, Sakara 21, do you think Sat will run a lot more 11 and 12 personnel? Oh, yeah. We're going to have – the tight ends are going to be very involved for sure. Going to be very involved. Let's see. And again, I will say this back because I just was scrolling back and I saw Mark Riegel say this again. Mark's saying that I've treated Dak Joyner as if he's not worth being a part of the program. That's not true. That's inaccurate. That's you taking. I've said he's not an elite wide receiver. He's not a quarterback. You're taking that personally, and that hurts your little feelings. You know what? It ain't my responsibility to coddle to your feelings, Mark Riegel. It is what it is. If you can't handle the truth about what the statistics and what the on-field things have shown us about Dakereon Joyner's play, I don't know what to tell you. Hey, I hope Dak Joyner has a 1,000-yard season. If he plays quarterback, I hope he wins the Heisman, my guy. We're all pulling for him. What's good for Dakereon Joyner, what's good for Spencer Rattler, what's good for Marshawn Lloyd, what's good for everybody on this football team, Mark Riegel, is good for South Carolina football as a whole. And guess what, Mark Riegel? I'm going to give you a little secret. What's good for South Carolina football is good for my business. So I promise you, I'm pulling for Dakereon Joyner. I promise you. You think winning doesn't help me? You think Dak Joyner balling out UNC, balling out in the Mayo Bowl, you think that didn't help my business? You think we didn't sell a lot more merchandise because of what Dakereon Joyner did? Guess again, my guy. So I'm pulling. I got nothing but love for Dak. I'm pulling for Dak. But when you're talking ball, Mark Riegel, when you're talking about who's going to be the 11 on offense or the 22 overall that are going to help us, I think Dak Joyner's limited as a wide receiver. I do. That doesn't mean I hate him, but it's just the reality. Like if he's in our top 3 receivers, damn it, we are. I mean, that was an indictment on the receiver room last year. And hey, would Carolina have won more games in 2019 had Dak Joyner started every game? Well, Ryan Helinski was the golden child then. Before that, Jake Bentley was the guy. Argue 2020 all you want because it was a mess with Colin Hill. Whatever, right? I would have preferred, I've said it before, I think I would have preferred to seen Dak Joyner. Why not? At least he's an athlete. Nobody in this chat, nobody on the Daily Crow, nobody at the Spurs Up show, nobody is acting like, God, I just wish Dak Joyner wasn't a part of our football team. I've said before, though, that if I was him, if I was in his camp, I would have suggested him to transfer if he wanted to play quarterback. But he obviously made it clear he didn't want to play quarterback. He's fine with playing wide receiver, just helping the team, however. And I commend him for that. I'm glad he's a Gamecock. So I, sir, do not wish anything but success, massive success for Dakereon Joyner. I'm glad he's a Gamecock. I'm glad he's a Gamecock. Got nothing but love for Dak. So that's it. That's it. Cordy Washington, Spurrier's the reason why we actually believe we can win 8+ games on a regular basis. Yeah, I just, again, I don't understand the folks that still hold grudges to Spurrier. No, nobody's saying it ended well, guys. Nobody's saying it did. But again, I'd go through it 100 times over to get 10-13 again. God, just give me that again. I'd go through that thing 100 times over. I really would. I really, really would. I mean, I got nothing but love for Steve Spurrier. Shit happens, man. It ended the way it did. I mean, hell, I think USC deserves some of the blame. We're the ones that convinced him to come back after 2014 after he didn't want to come back. Go read the stories. He didn't want to come back. He was done. He was done. Like, we shouldn't have begged him to come back. We should have let him walk after 2014 when he wanted to walk. No wonder he didn't recruit. He didn't want to recruit. He didn't want to coach. Why did Ray Tanner beg on hands and knees to get him to come back? So, and Luke RJ says, without Spurrier, there's no Beamer. So everything happens for a reason. It is what it is. I just don't think there's a point in holding grudges to the greatest coach at this point in school history. Because he is. He is. Anyways, I love it. Hey, listen, it's only going to heat up more as we get into next week. It's crazy to think this time next week is game week. God, that's awesome. I love that. I love that. Oh, man. Oh, we're so close. Hey, week 0 this week, too. We got Vandy on the island. We got Nebraska. We got Florida State's got a game. So football's back, folks. Football's back. Again, guys, quick reminder, check out the podcast that dropped this morning, episode 692. We talked the Gamecocks offensive line on the show. Really, really good stuff. I know we'll have a lot of debate and banter about that all week because I gave them a D+ grade, guys. Right now, I don't think the O-line's – I think they're a question mark. Austin Griezmann, under over 500 yards of offense against Georgia State. Austin, I'll take the under. Week 1 of a new offense, new quarterback, new personnel, new pieces all over. Season opener, I'll take under. I don't think, Austin, we're clicking on all cylinders. I tell you, if we have over 500 yards of offense, this might be a pretty damn good Gamecocks offense, folks. I don't know that it's going to click that quickly. Let's put it that way. I hope it does, but I don't know that it's going to click that quickly. So, yeah, anyways, check out the podcast. Stay tuned to the Daily Crow all week long. We got Mark Ryan joining the show tomorrow. Going to be a lot of fun. Shane Beamer speaks to the media. Of course, the TSUS tour continues on Thursday. We are at Woodruff Road in Greenville. Everything will get going at 6 o'clock. By the way, I know Shane Beamer's call-in shows at 6 Thursday. I'm going to have my speaker, and we're going to be playing that at Carolina Ale House in Woodruff Road. So anybody that comes out, we can all tune in, listen to hear what Shane Beamer's got to say. Obviously, he'll be live in Columbia. Other than that, man, just the merch. Hey, the merchandise. Be sure you're trying to get your merch, right? Thursday. Let's actually call it Friday. Friday is your last day to order where I can guarantee you will have it by kickoff, okay? So Friday's your cutoff date. If you order anytime next week, I cannot guarantee you're going to have your T-shirt, your hat, whatever, by kickoff, by Georgia State kickoff. That's not to stop you from ordering the merch. That's just to set realistic expectations and just give you an idea of when you will get the merch, okay? And yes, Cocky Twan, we love Steve Spurrier. Indeed. We do love. Salute to the GOAT. Salute to the GOAT. Put respect on the GOAT's freaking name. Put respect on his name. Hey, guys, starting next week, by the way, we will have guests. We'll have our guests lined up for every single day on the Daily Crow. Stephen Garcia on Mondays. Alex McGrath on Tuesdays. Anthony Treesh of Pro Football Focus on Wednesdays. J.C. Sherbert on Thursdays. And Jake Crane of Crane & Company on Fridays. Electric. Hey, y'all, thank you for the electric conversation today. It was incredible. The beauties in the banter. Luke RJ, final comment. Now I'm hoping Joyner has a few 100-yard, 2-touchdown receiving games this year. Luke RJ, I hope he has 7,000 receiving yards, my guy, and 27 touchdowns. I hope we go 15-0, my guy. Trust me. I hope the same, Luke RJ. I hope the same. Y'all, hey, that's going to do it. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Check us out on podcast form on iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. Stay tuned to the podcast. Stay tuned to the Daily Crow. And stay tuned to the content because content is bleeding out the eyeballs. Folks, appreciate you all tuning in. Have a great rest of your Monday, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.